Doctor Strange! Woo! We're doing a look based off of Doctor Strange from Marvel Studios. If you've already been following this series, I'm doing a 14-day makeup challenge, and this is day number This is day number 9. I'm gonna be honest, it's been a lot longer than 14 days, but the important thing is when life gets in the way, you keep on going. So Dr. Stephen Strange, Dr. Stephen Strange serves as a Sorcerer Supreme, which is the primary protector of Earth against magical and mystical threats. Dr. Strange has like one of the coolest superpowers. He opens portals. Also, I'm a huge fan of Benedict Cumberbatch and his acting. I know there was a couple scenes in there where he was astral projecting out of his body. To my understanding, he was a surgeon and got into a really bad car accident in his fancy car, broke all of his bones in his fingers and hands, so he no longer could be a surgeon, lost his purpose in life. He encountered the Ancient One, the Sorcerer Supreme, became his student, learns to master both mystical and martial art, then acquires these mystical objects, including the Eye of Agamotto and Cloak of Levitation, and takes up residence in the mansion referred to as Sanctum Sanctorum. I am taking inspiration again from the posters, the costumes. What I'm going to be focusing on is the symbolism of his motions. Every scene where Doctor Strange is conjuring a portal, there is a circle, there is a lot of swishies actions, and then the choo. And because he has this shiny green thing in the middle, his stone, as a necklace in the middle of his chest, I'm going to take a little bit of that green. I'm going to stick with his main color scheme with his all blue outfit, his Cloak of Levitation, and we'll just see where it goes. I do have a sketch, but I also might improvise a little bit. Before you go, pick my next video. Do you want to see Falcon or Hawkeye? Let's get started. Before I begin, I must warn you that the first part of this makeup process is quite playful, which also means it feels like you're doing something wrong when you put on the base makeup. I'm applying flash color grease paints with a metal spatula to create a really thick base and blend directly on my skin. I can tell immediately as I'm drawing this that I am foregoing my initial sketches completely, but I kind of wanted to be more abstract with this one anyway, because I feel like the more and more I progress in this series, the more I'm becoming too literal, so I'm going to run the opposite direction and surprise you with a strange interpretation of Doctor Strange. I'm using a mixture of red, blue, teal green, and black to create the areas where the circular portals will be. The world of Doctor Strange is really mysterious, and his entrance into sorcery came from an accident, marking the darkest time of his life. So I wanted to go in with a deep base color that felt really murky and confusing. It's definitely starting to feel very expressionistic, which means I'm using vivid colors to convey my emotional response to the movie, but at the same time keeping it quite abstract with the basic shapes and elements within the visual references of the poster and the costumes. Without powdering, I'm adding on layers of white and yellow because there's always a glow around each of the portals, so I wanted to mimic the energy pulsing out of each circle. I'm making sure not to blend too much because there is no powder separating these layers of color, so if I start over pressing that brush into my skin, what I'm going to end up getting is the bottom and the top layers of color mixing into another murky mess. I'm choosing the areas with the heaviest colors of navy and red to add the yellow, and also hitting that natural highlight areas of my face like the nose bridge and brow bone. But then I decide let's go against that rule and choose randomly around the face instead, so the little clouds of white and yellow end up spreading like clouds. One of the hardest parts about doing Avant Garde full face makeup is that when you have a design, it's not just one flat layer of makeup that you apply. It's many layers that pile on top of each other in a harmonious way, and knowing which layers go first and will blend into the next one and which layers will separate and go last. I always go cream first, because it's easiest to gain coverage and pigmentation, but that's not always the case for everyone else. I also hear a lot of people make the argument that what I am doing is no longer makeup and more like face paint, but in truth, what's the difference? It's technically all makeup, and it's entertaining to see people challenge their preconceived notions of what they think makeup is supposed to look like versus what it can look like. Okay, back to this look. I've used some tape to delineate negative space so that I can paint harsh edges, and these edges were inspired by the folding of buildings and streets during the movie scenes where magic starts to change the perception of objects in space. So I've used a lot of perpendicular and diagonal lines to achieve this part of the look. The rest of the design is mainly using water-activated face paints to draw circles. I want them to be imperfect and almost like rough sketches because the portals that appear in Doctor Strange always tends to be in movement. I like to reinforce these elementary shapes on my face with white paint at the end, including some of the waves and squiggles that define my facial features. I'm adding blue eyeliner for Doctor Strange's clothing, white in the waterline and inner corner of my eye for the white light from the portal behind him in the poster, and the subtle bright green on my eyelid for the time stone. To accentuate the eye area and lips, I'm putting on black liner, false lashes, and a liquid maroon lip. I thought I was done at this point, so I had gone off camera to fix up my hair and change, but then I looked in the mirror and felt like my neck and shoulders were too bare, so I decided I also wanted to paint it. I end up just using face paint for this area, and I tried to match the colors to the face. And then I drew the white and yellow circles on as well. And that's it! And this is the final look. I definitely went way off of my design, but I'm really excited that I did because it's very impressionist. Or is it expressionist? This is how I feel when I watch Doctor Strange. If you haven't done so already, comment down below if you want to see Falcon or Hawkeye in the next video. Comment. As usual, stay creative and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Apparently, the fans of Benedict Cumberbatch call themselves the Cumberbitches, in which I would be one of a Cumberbitch.